I had a question on Instagram, and the gentleman said to me, Mahdi, how do I read more books? I can't find the motivation to read more books. I know I should, but I can't find the motivation to do it. How do I do this? How do I find that motivation? Well, before we answer this, we need to ask ourselves, what's the point in reading books in the first place? Why? What's the benefit? What's the need? Why do I need to read books for? For what? That might sound like a daft question to many of you, but it's a genuine question. Why do you need to read books? What's the purpose? What's the benefit? What's the latent benefit in reading books? The easy answer to this is as follows. Whatever goals, ambitions you have that you wish to achieve, books will help you get there quicker. I'll say it again. Whatever goals, ambitions you wish to achieve, books will help you get to your destination quicker. How? Because every time you read a book, oftentimes you are reading a lifetime's worth of experience and lessons learned condensed into 300 pages that you can consume over a matter of days. You can consume one man's life experience, or woman for that matter, over a period of a matter of days. You can learn from the mistakes and lessons of an entire lifetime for £10, because that's how much the average book costs, over a matter of days. This is a massive, massive, massive advantage in terms of getting to where you want to go to. And it doesn't matter what field you are interested in. It doesn't matter whether it's business or whether it's psychology or whether it's human nature or whatever your interests are. Books give you the shortcut route. They give you it's like cutting through a forest instead of going all the way around it. It's the shortcut to your destination. That's why you need to read, because the more you read as well, the more you realize how little you know, how ignorant you are. That's one of the beauties, one of the beautiful things about reading is that it enlightens you to your own ignorance. So that's the latent benefit in reading, is that it provides a shortcut. It short circuits the path to the destination by providing you with an opportunity to learn from a lifetime's worth of experience from the author in a matter of days. This is, I can't describe or provide any more description or explanation as to why how powerful that is. Lifetime worth of experience in a matter of days. So then, the next question, to answer the question, I should say, how do I motivate myself to read more books? Firstly and foremostly, I don't like the word motivation. Motivation is fleeting. Motivation comes, motivation goes. And we need something a bit more substantial than that if you want to be able to achieve your goals, whatever they may be. Because motivation itself is not going to cut it. Some days you're motivated to do said task, said job. Other days you are not. So we need something more concrete than that. But this is how I began my journey of getting back into reading, because I hadn't read for many years. I only got back into reading a few years ago, consistently reading. Now I read, last year I read 84 books. On average, I read anywhere from 80 to 100 books a year. And half of those are actually audible books. The beauty of audible, by the way, listening to books, is that you can speed up the author. You can speed him up to 3.5 times regular speed. I've trained my ear to be able to listen at 2.5 times now. 2.5. That's really fast. It sounds like witchcraft. My wife said it sounds like witchcraft. And you might think, oh, but how are you going to absorb the lessons? Like, how are you going to... Let me tell you something. When you listen to it faster, you listen better. I'll tell you why. It's hard to keep up. When you're listening to the author at regular speed, the author speaking slowly, it's very easy to go into a daydream, into a trance, and get in a tangent in your brain, go down a wormhole, and next thing you know, you've lost 5 minutes of the book because you were spending too much time thinking about, you got lost in thought. When you're listening to a book that's on a fast speed, you are constantly focusing, hyper engaged in what the author is saying. So not only do you finish the book quicker, which means you can read more books, but you listen better because you're constantly focused. So don't think it's a bad thing. It's a really good thing. It's great for Amazon because it means you buy more books for their business model. But for you as an individual, you get to consume the life works. You get to consume life works of other individuals quicker, more and more, okay? So now, how do we go about continually consisting reading more books? Well, firstly and foremostly, for me, how I made the connection was this, is that I made a realization that, and it was actually through network marketing when I was involved in network marketing many years ago. And they said your self-development will dictate how far you go in this business. How much you read and learn and enlighten yourself and uplift yourself from ignorance will dictate how far you go in this business. Once I realized that my ability to reach my goal is intimately tied to how much ignorance I uplift myself from, how much knowledge I acquire. Again, my ability or likelihood to reach my goals. Once I realized that that was intimately tied to how much knowledge I acquire, I no longer found it difficult to read books because I had a burning desire to achieve my goals, which means that I must also have a burning desire to read books so that I can uplift myself from ignorance and enlighten myself with new knowledge every single day, because that's the fast track to get into where I want to go. So that's the first thing, is that I made the realization, if I want to go to where I plan on going, my goals, I'm not going to be able to achieve them, or it will be extremely unlikely for me to be able to achieve them, except by uplifting myself from ignorance. Learning, reading. That's the first thing. Now, how many books a month or how many pages a day did I start with? 10 pages a day. That's it. 10 pages a day. Very simple. And I wouldn't even go out of my way to read. I'd take the book to the toilet. 10 pages a day means that you will finish a book a month. One book a month, that's 12 books a year. 120 books over 10 years. And think, like this bookshelf that you see behind you, there's around 200 books in that bookshelf. At one book a month, it would take you nearly 20 years, 17 years or so, to get through this bookshelf. There's more layers down there as well. You can't see them. It would take you around 20 years. But that's better than not reading any books at all. Nevertheless, 10 pages a day is where I started. Consistently, every single day. I would miss some days. I'm not going to lie. I'd miss some days. I remember I had a trip to Japan and that threw me off a little bit and I missed a few days. However, eventually I got myself into the routine proper and I was reading consistently 10 pages a day. Once I started reading, it was no longer even about I need to read to achieve my goals. Once you realize how ignorant you are, how little you know, is mind-blowing. And the more books you read, instead of becoming more enlightened, you feel more ignorant. That's the irony. It's like you're pulling away the curtain from the iceberg, and each book that you read pulls more of the curtain away from the iceberg. And instead of the iceberg getting smaller, it gets bigger. Such is the nature of reading. And once you realize how little you know, you become even more motivated to learn more. And when you learn more, you find out that you know even less, and then you become more motivated to learn yet more still. And on the cycle perpetuates. To the point where now I'm reading, I read 6 to 9 books a month. Now, half of those are typically consumed through Audible. So it's hard for me to say to you how many pages a day that is, but you could say that's roughly 75 to 100 pages a day, around that, there or thereabouts. Like I say, I can't tell an Audible because I'm listening to the damn thing, but around that much. And that's how I got into reading, exactly like that, through that process. First, step 1, I made a realization that I will not be able to get to where I want to go and achieve my goals and ambitions except by uplifting myself from ignorance and enlightening myself with knowledge through books. Lifetime's worth of experience you can learn from each author. That's the first thing. And the second thing was, I made a commitment to read just 10 pages a day. That's it. 10 pages a day. Or if you're on Audible, just listen to half an hour a day. Done. And don't go out of your way to do it. Just read the books on the toilet. That's it. I mean it. Read those 10 pages on the toilet. Put the book away. Once you've established that habit, now at this point, right, a month down the line, you're going to become hooked, addicted, because you realize how little you know and it scares you. It scares you how ignorant you are. then you want to learn more. And then you get to the point where I'm at now, reading 6 to 9 books a month, 80 to 100 books a year, not to mention all the podcasts that I listen to. That's a whole other thing. And eventually you'll become so efficient with your time that you will start to feel like any time wasted that you're not actually learning, that whilst you could be learning and you're not learning, you're just wasting it, dossing, watching TV or whatever, you start to feel immensely guilty. And you don't want to waste that time anymore. I used to watch maybe a couple of hours of TV a day. Now you'd be lucky if I watch half an hour of TV a day. Or even recreational videos on YouTube. Lucky. Why? I can't. There's too much to learn. And at the speed that I listen to my books and my podcasts and so on, I'm able to consume 7 to 8 hours of content, be it through books or podcasts, every single day, just because I play them on double speed and sometimes more. And I use my time very as wisely as I can. Not as wisely as I could do, but as wisely as I can. For example, every time I'm walking, I'm listening to a book. When I'm training in the gym, I've got these big old fat headphones on. Let me show you these fake Beats right here. These big headphones on, and I'm listening to a book. I'm not wasting time. I ain't talking to no one. If you see me in the gym, you know I've got my head down. I'm minding my own business. I've got these big chunky headphones on that are boiling my ears, and I'm listening and learning. That's my advice to you. I hope this helped. If you found value in the video, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Make sure you share it with someone. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.